Well, they say the constant pressures of hockey can get to you. We talk about the various problems with like people like Terry Sawchuk and other goalies of the ilk. But I think Roger Crozier's early death from cancer kind of shows that sometimes the game can really wear on you in a lot of ways. Now, Roger Crozier was shot up like a firestorm in his first couple of years in the NHL. He won the Calder Trophy, won the Conn Smythe as playoff MVP, but by the time the 70s came around, he was basically relegated to a backup status with Buffalo. And if Buffalo would have given more support in 75, they probably would have won the cup, but they couldn't overcome the Flyers that year. So Roger Crozier, born Roger Allen Crozier, March 16th, 1942, in Bracebridge, Ontario. First came to major prominence with the St. Catharines Teepees, the historic OHA franchise. Now he played parts of 4 seasons with the Teepees, 3 seasons, and played the Memorial Cup, which they won in 1960. Now his best season was his first one with the Teepees, and again 1960, with a 25-19-4 record with a 3.91 goal, 98 goals against average. Now he played 31 playoff games that season, giving him 79 contests, with of course an 8-5-1 record in the Memorial Cup tournament. Now by 1962, he found himself in the lower pro system. He played with Sault Ste. Marie Thunderbirds of EPHL and the Buffalo Bisons in 62, and the Braves and the Bisons, St. Louis Braves, where the St. Louis, he played 70 games with them that season, and 4 were Buffalo. Now he ended up with the Pittsburgh Hornets in 64, but eventually got the call up to Detroit, where he posted a 5-6-4 record and a 3.40 average. Now the 1965 season was a breakthrough for Crozier. He won the Calder Cup trophy that year with a 40-22-7 record that also included 6 shutouts and a 2.42 average. Now the Red Wings at the time were quite strong, and he eventually had much prominence when he took Terry Sawchuk's part when Crozier was called up when Sawchuk was injured. Now he so impressed management that he was made the Wings' no starting goaltender. Now Sawchuk was left unprotected by the Red Wings during the interleague draft in the offseason, and again it was picked up by the Leafs. Now this made Crozier the Red Wings starting goaltender at the age of 22, which, if you've seen some of his old hockey cards, aged him severely. He was in his early 30s and he looked about 50 in some of his cards. Like I said, the wear and tear of the NHL got to him. Now, in that rookie season, again, he made the NHL first All-Star team. Now, during his sophomore year, Crozier missed the team's couple of games due to pancreatitis. Now, in 64 games that year, he had 27 wins and led the league with 7 shutouts. Now, the Red Wings did clinch a spot in the playoffs. After eliminating the Blackhawks in the semis, the Red Wings squared off against the Habs in the finals, and the Red Wings won the first 2 games, but the Canadiens came all the way back and won the next 2. Now, in the 4th game, Crozier suffered a leg injury. He played in Game 5, but the injury curbed his mobility. Now, the Canadiens eventually won the Stanley Cup in Game 6. Now, even though the Red Wings lost, Crozier was awarded the Conn Smythe Trophy for being the most valuable player in the playoffs. And again, he was the first goalie to win the trophy and the first player to win it in a losing effort. Now, the pancreatitis came back in 66-67, and he lost 12 games on a 70-game campaign that year. Now, his numbers were also down. He's won only 22 games, and his GAA went up to 3.35. Now, the Red Wings missed the playoffs that year for the first time in forever. Now, after another bout of pancreatitis at the beginning of the 68 season, Crozier announced his retirement due to stress and depression. 6 weeks later, however, he returned to the ice, and he played 5 games with the Fort Worth Kings of the CPHL as conditioning, then returned to Detroit. After 2 more seasons on a mediocre Red Wing squad, he was traded to the newly formed Buffalo Sabres in 1970. Now, in the 70 NHL expansion draft, Buffalo Sabres GM Punch Imlach drafted Tom Webster from the Brooms and promptly dealt him to the Red Wings for Crozier. Now, Crozier started the Sabres' first NHL game on October 10, 1970 against the Penguins, stopping all but one of 36 shots during the franchise first victory by a 2-1 count. Now, on December 6, 1970, he earned the franchise's first shutout in a 1-0 blank of Minnesota. But by late December, Crozier was deeply exhausted, and most of the Sabres' goaltending duties fell on Ken Dryden's brother Dave and Joe Daly. Now, Crozier finished the season with a .927 record and a 3.68 GAA. The Sabres almost missed the playoffs, finishing 5th in the East. Adding to Crozier's continued health problems, his gallbladder was removed during the offseason. Now, the 72 season was even worse for the Sabres as he finished with the fewest wins in the league with 16. Crozier did post a 13-34-14 record with an improved 3.51 goals against average. He faced 2,190 shots that year, a team record which stands to this day. Now, the Sabres did improve in 73 and made the playoffs for the first time in their history, playing playing Montreal in the quarterfinal round. In 49 games, Crozier had his first winning record with the Sabres, and he had a much improved 2.76 GAA. Crozier played in the series against Montreal. He played forward or contest and won both, but the Sabres were dispatched in 6 games. Now, still suffering from pancreatitis and now afflicted by ulcers and gallbladder problems, Crozier saw his playing time greatly reduced. In 75, he posted 17 wins and 2 losses, helping the Sabres rank first in the Adams. Now, during the playoffs, Crozier played 5 games, including 2 in the finals. After eliminating the Blackhawks and the Canadiens, the Sabres faced the Flyers in the finals. Game 3 of the finals of Buffalo was known as the fog game. As a heat wave in May hit the arena with no conditioning inside, the temperature increased. Now, fog started to develop and soon visibility decreased. Jerry Desjardins was the starting goaltender, but after allowing 3 goals in the first, he was replaced by Crozier. Now, Crozier allowed one goal to the rest of the contest and helped the Sabres to win 5-4 in overtime. Now, with the Sabres trailing the series 3-2, Crozier was selected to start Game 6 and he shut out the Flyers in the first 2 periods. However, in the third, the Flyers scored the only goal of the game and he won the Stanley Cup by 4-2 by the 1-0 count. Now, for the third time, Crozier's team lost in the finals. Now, in 1976, Crozier played only 11 games due to his physical ailments. The Sabres then traded him to Washington in exchange for cash on March 3rd, 1977. He played only 3 games with the Capitals before retiring after 14 seasons in the association. Now, after retiring, Crozier served in the Capitals front office. He served as interim GM during the 82 season and served as head coach for 1 game during the campaign. Under his watch, the Capitals picked future Hall of Fame defenseman Scott Stevens in the 82 NHL entry draft. He left the Capitals in 83 as Crozier and moved to Wilmington, Delaware to work at MBNA Bank. He rose to the level of Executive Vice President and Facilities Manager of Worldwide Facilities and Construction. Now, Crozier, unfortunately, the ailments that he had, the stress of the game caught up with him, and he died after a battle with cancer on January 11, 1996, at the age of 53. Now, in 2000, the NHL also unveiled the Roger Crozier Saving Grace Award, which was given annually to the goaltender who posted the best save percentage in each season from 2000 to 2007. Now, the award was co-sponsored by Crozier's last employer, MBNA. Now, in 2009, in a deserving moment in Buffalo sports history, he was inducted into the city's Sports Hall of Fame. So, a career that may have been forgotten, but for me, you look at the establishment of the Sabres franchise, and that the super runs in 73 and 75, where they got to the quarterfinals and the finals, with the French Connection, with Jerry Korab, Jimmy Schoenfeld, all the top players. Crozier was not a pure number 1, far from it. If anything, he was a stopgap until the number 1 could come in to alleviate him and put him in a number 2. So the only comparison I can say was Eddie Johnson, and possibly, like a Brian Hayward type. But the statistics are there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, he played 518 games, 206 wins, 197 losses, 70 ties, 28,567 minutes played, 30 shutouts, and 14 and 60 in the playoffs with 1 shutout. Now, awards again: Memorial Cup 1960, OHA Junior First All-Star Team 60 to 62 inclusive, AHL Second All-Star Team 64, Dudley Red Garrett Memorial Award in 64, and the Harry Hap Holmes Memorial Award again in 64 because of that Hornet season where he finished 30-13-1 with 4 shutouts with a 2.34 average. Now again, the trophy case also includes the Calder in 65, the Conn Smythe in 66, and the NHL First All-Star Team in 65. Now he's one of the last of the modern era to play all regular season games in net for their squad. I don't think you see that in a modern era, like in 2020, maybe 75 or 78, but that's about it. So that's the Many Lives of Roger Crozier. Please give me a like, comment, or subscribe if you enjoy what we're doing here, and we enjoy the fact you're taking time to listen. Have a good day. Bye.